What's happening, fellas? Just wanted to update you where I am at with my personal race bike. This is Ken Sr., and this is my 1997 CR500 that I bought from my friend Jim Satrip in 2018. I had done absolutely nothing to the motor in one back-to-back 500 shootouts with it. He had the motor set up pretty nice. It was putting down 55 rear-wheel horsepower, about one more than my four-stroke 500cc YZ that I put an obscene amount of money into, and it had 20% more torque, so it's one of the reasons I ditched the four-stroke platform after putting all that money into it, and 100 reasons why, but I've gotten into that in other videos. I just want to focus on this for a minute. When I got the bike, it had the original key-in carburetor with a Boyson rad valve intake and maybe a little bit of mild porting, I'm not sure. The head wasn't milled or anything, and it had a pro circuit pipe on it, put down 55 horse on a dyno that was run at my friend over at X Pro in Columbia before we got our dyno. I know every dyno is different, but when I dynoed it this week, it was only putting down 51.8, about 3 horse less, and I think that's because I switched to the gnarly pipe, which is a woods pipe instead of the pro circuit. Anyways, let me fire this thing up so you can hear it run. One of the cool things Adam did at Millar Race Engineering is he put a decompression lever here. Basically, you push this thing in, and it decreases the amount of engine compression since the head was milled on this thing, so it'll take some stress off of one, your foot, and two, the engine cases. I've never broken a kicker on these 500s in 36 years, but I've heard people have, and some people have trouble starting them. I don't, so I don't really feel like I need that, and I've started it without it. But if you want to make a 500 as easy to start as a 125, get one of them. Send it to Adam. He'll put that on your head. The bike's already warmed up. I'm just going to fire it up. You can hear it when you kick it over. Hear that? That hissing noise? That's the decompression release. It'll automatically disengage as soon as it starts, so watch this. Usually first kick. Magic. That's a happy tail. That's a lot of compression. I haven't done it yet. Adam told me he wanted to do 3 heat cycles on it first. So I just got done doing the 3rd heat cycle, so I'm going to take it out for a rip and see how she sounds. But that's basically it. He took, I was told by Wizard, he took about 2 millimeters off the head. I haven't talked to Adam yet, but you can see the decompression release is disengaged. It's all the way out now. And the mods that Adam suggested, and I've run all kinds of different carburetors on these 500s. In fact, I rode Ben Probst's bike with Electron carb on it, and for motocross, I think for just dyno results, Electron may give you more horsepower, but for rideability, the Key-in Air Striker is what Adam Millar and AJ Wagner recommend. So this engine spec was pretty much designed by Millar Race Engineering. The crank is an OEM original crank that was rebuilt a few seasons ago. It has the same clutch I've had in there for 3 seasons, and I think it's starting to slip a little bit, so I didn't want to replace the clutch yet. That'll be next. But what we've done so far is a new twin air filter, the new Key-in Air Striker carburetor with the stick super torque. I'll let Adam explain how that thing works in another video, because I don't quite understand it. And I do have his complete jetting spec for this bike at 1,000 feet above sea level. I haven't done it yet, but we're going to be jetting this on Monday, so the jetting may be off a little bit. But if you look at the MRE, see that spacer right there? It's about almost a half an inch. That's a reed block spacer with, I think he uses a Boyson reed valve in there, and that has been confirmed by Ben Probst on a dyno to provide a couple extra horsepower, as well as the MSV exhaust port. As you can see that little billet piece right in there. It's hot now, I don't want to burn myself, but that flows a little better than the stock one. It's billet, so it's carved from a big chunk of aluminum, and it flows perfectly. Now the magic is inside the engine here. It's got a Wiseco piston, bored first over, and I can't show you any photos of the porting because it's proprietary porting spec, but I can tell you he works the magic on the porting. And the piston, he actually drilled 3 holes on this side of the piston by the exhaust port to provide a little more lubrication on the exhaust port side, which I believe gets a little hotter, obviously, than the intake. So that's about it. Nothing major. These are super easy engines to mod, and they don't cost that much. The pipe that's on it We have a Higgy pipe in stock, which it puts the most horsepower down on the dyno. This one here is a hodgepodge. It's a Pro Circuit 304 silencer because I had a Pro Circuit pipe on there, and I switched to the Gold Series FMF Gnarly. I wanted a little more low end for getting over the whoops at Southwick and to spin a little bit less. But actually what I wanted was a fatty, and they were on back order. I have 3 of them coming from distribution and 3 of them coming from Ben Probst. So I have 6 fatties on order because they keep on running out of stock on them. But in any event, this is a great woods pipe, not so good for moto. Stock clutch basket, even it's got a Boyson Racing cover, but it's a stock clutch basket with a stock clutch. So that's about it. Not a big investment, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what it'll put on the dyno. And this weekend I'm just breaking it in. We're getting ready for our next race at Southwick next weekend. We'll be practicing next Wednesday there, and then we've got the Metropolitan Sports Committee's coming down, so hopefully Junior and I will do, he's going to ride the 450B and Open B, and I'm going to ride the, if they have, well, I'm sure they have a 50 plus class, I'll ride 50 plus, and then probably the, also ride the vintage if they have any vintage. This bike qualifies for vintage, AHRMA, Evolution class, pre-1997. We will be racing this at Unadilla real soon. So that should be really cool. Hopefully we'll get some good footage for you guys. Right now I got a sand tire on there for Southwick. We'll be heading back there Wednesday. Enough flapping of the gums. That's what we did to it. Let's see how she runs. So guys, it's as easy as pushing the button in right here, and you can start this thing with sneakers on easily. Watch, now it's gonna give me a hard time now, of course. Like I said, we don't have the jetting dialed in on it yet, so that could be it too. Could be cold too. So far, so good. How's it sound, Christy?
It sounds real good.
Yeah, it's definitely got more power than it did with the worn out. I'm not, the top end we took apart, actually, believe it or not, after 3 seasons, still had the cross hatching on the piston, on the cylinder, excuse me, and the pistons still look good. That cylinder is completely still reusable. I'll probably put that on another bike, but we're trying to take this to the next level. Junior's bike's putting down, I think it was 53.8 on the dyno. This one was a couple horse low. He also had the FMF Fatty. That's guaranteed to give you 2 extra horsepower over the gnarly. The Pro Circuit pipe I have on there that I had on here before is supposedly about 4 horse less than a FMF fatty on a dyno. We're gonna try them back to back. We tried the gnarly on this bike, and I also tried the Pro Circuit. The Pro Circuit, the gnarly, like I said, is a woods pipe, but the jetting's not perfect on this yet. It's got about 35 minutes on the top end. We did 3 heat cycles, and that was my third 10-minute ride session. Actually, the heat cycles were ride sessions, just putting around basically. Once at the mill, and then twice here today. I did 3 10-minute sessions, and then that was my first ride on it. Kind of want to do a hole shot, but I don't want to mess up the grass too much. Want to go on the other end?
Okay.
I'll give away one of my trade secrets right now. The 3rd gear start. Basically, when you click it in a 2nd gear, like that, you want to make sure you do a real solid pull in the 3rd like that, because sometimes you'll think it's in 3rd, but it's not. You got 2 solid pulls up in the 3rd. And this is grass with this paddle on it, so I don't know how it's going to react. I haven't done a hole shot on this bike with the grass paddle on. I usually have a intermediate train tire here, but let's give it a whirl, see how it goes. This will be a 3rd gear start, guys. Good, just push your compression release in. You know what? I'm not so sure I like the compression release, but I'm gonna take it off and try it without.
Fine.
The whole key is to get limited wheel slip. That didn't go that well. On a scale of 1 to 10, that was about a 6 for me. Because if you do it right, you'll have, I basically had to slip the clutch a little bit, and every time you slip the clutch, after you get rolling, because it was wheeling, you lose about a half a bike length. So if I was a little bit farther forward on the tank, again, new motor, sand tire on grass isn't a hot setup, but definitely good practice. So stay tuned. I'm trying to get this thing dialed in. We'll be at Southwick next weekend. Take a look at the compound. You can, I don't know if you guys have seen the compound before, but it's 52 acres. What you're looking at right in front of you, these gently rolling hills, was formerly our motocross track, and then it was a supercross track. And you see the light poles. There's four light poles there. If you can zoom in on them, Christy, there's 16 lights. It lights up like daytime. At night, about 2 acres, and we used to ride here till 10 o'clock all the time. But unfortunately, due to injuries and a death to a close friend of mine racing, we kind of stopped racing for a couple years, and we're back into it now, doing mostly vintage stuff. But the track, the kids grew up and moved out, so we kind of set it up so you could mow it like a golf course, really.
Yeah.
It looks like a golf course, but this used to be a track right out here. Who knows, maybe someday if I have grandkids that want to ride every day, it'll turn into a track again. But right now, it is what it is. Thanks for watching. God bless America. Yeah, definite big improvement with this top end carb and intake setup. Not so sure why I had trouble starting it with the compression lever in. It actually started easier with the lever out, but maybe it's me just getting the hang of it. We wanted to do this in phases, So we made the changes we made on the intake, carb, top end piston cylinder, and head, and left the FMF gnarly on there. We're gonna dyno it like this. Put the street tire on and dyno it. We actually set up a rim with a street tire for the CR500, so we're gonna be able to dyno a lot of them now and tell you guys what's really up. We're gonna dyno it with this setup, and then we're gonna try dyno it with an FMF fatty, and then we're gonna dyno it with a Higgy. So we'll have reports for you on all three. The other thing we have not done yet, and again, when you do this many changes to a bike, you want to do them one at a time so you can find out what the hell is going on. We did not change the clutch, and this clutch has got quite a few hole shots on it. I will be putting an hour meter on it too to track how many hours you have on the top end, clutch and other components. For some reason I'm drawing a blank, but the company that makes the slipper clutches also makes a torque clutch that was designed in conjunction with Adam Millar at Millar Race Engineering in Canada, that supposedly their advertisement on their website says it gives you 20% more rear wheel torque. Well, we're going to find out if that's fact or fiction, because we are going to be dynoing this exactly the way it is. Then we're going to change the pipes, get it dialed in with the pipe and the jetting, get it exactly done, and then we're going to hook it up with that non-slipper clutch, the torque clutch. You guys will tell. I'll remember as soon as we get off the damn stop recording, but as soon as I draw a mental blank when I'm under pressure to remember something. But in any event, we're going to try it with that new clutch and see if it does really give us 20% more horsepower. Proof's on the dyno. Dyno don't lie. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless America. Stay tuned as we develop this bike and get it as good as we can get it. I just remembered what it is. It's a Recluse clutch, and Adam Millar developed with them a non-slipper clutch that supposedly puts on 20% more torque according to Recluse. We're going to find out. So my memory came back to me.